well above the state's current minimum of $15.50 an hour. CNBC's Kate Rogers live in San Francisco. This would be a big win for fast food workers, looks like.
That's right, Shep. Advocates say the bill's passing is a major win for workers that will improve the industry's conditions in a meaningful and sweeping manner if signed into law. It comes at a time when organized labor has been successful across the food sector, from Starbucks to Chipotle and Trader Joe's. Fast food chains are notoriously difficult to organize due to high turnover and franchisee ownership.
Now, according to officials in San Antonio, Texas, there will be considered a proposal to use $50 million of revenue from the city-owned utility to provide rebates to customers. Energy bills have soared for people in Texas in recent months, as record-breaking heat forced them to use more electric. As a result, the city's revenue from CPS Energy is expected to be $75 million higher than expected. The city manager, Eric Walsh, said the city collects 13% of revenue that the utility brings in. The credit will be based on the customer's July bill, with the proposal suggesting the credit reduced from the future bill should be around 13% of what was paid in July. Walsh said the average bill for residential customers rose to $230 in July, meaning they could expect a rebate of about $31. Walsh also told reporters, "This is not going to wipe away anybody's outstanding balances. It's not going to pay anybody's complete utility bill. It is the city as the owner of CPS, recognizing the extraordinary position that everyone finds themselves in and doing our part." Now, Illinois representatives have also co-sponsored a bill to give Americans with monthly rebate checks, help them defray the escalating cost of gas, with a windfall profit tax being levied against oil companies. According to the Stop Gas Price Gouging Tax and Rebate Act, introduced by Peter DeFazio, single Americans making less than $75,000 annually, or those filing jointly, will be eligible for the monthly, advanced, and refundable rebate checks. Representative Underwood said in a statement, "Every day I hear from my constituents about how rising prices are impacting their quality of life. They deserve relief, which is why I helped introduce the legislation to put money into the pockets of families, to help them afford groceries and energy costs, while also holding greedy oil companies and gas companies accountable." Biden has already confirmed that he is considering a tax holiday. In an interview on ABC News, the Treasury Secretary expressed an openness to a federal gas tax to give motorists some relief.
And power lines, and provide hundreds of other services that can't be done in the comfort of an air-conditioned building. These workers need and deserve protection from the impacts of dangerous heat. That's why we're out here today. We all know that climate change is making heat waves hotter and more common. The past 8 years have been the hottest since global record keeping began. And heat wave season has been getting longer, stretching into early spring and late fall. Scientists expect these longer and hotter heat waves to continue. And our window of opportunity to avoid the worst impacts of the climate crisis is quickly closing. That's why NRDC and our elected leaders are working tirelessly to advance climate action, from city halls and state legislatures to Washington, D.C. and around the world. Every year, thousands of U.S. workers are tragically sickened, injured, and even killed by extreme heat. High temperatures can and do affect workers across race, ethnicity, gender, class, and occupation. But as with so many other environmental health harms, Black, Latino, low-wage, and essential workers are hurt first and worst. The dangers workers face on construction sites, in manufacturing plants, and all across all the other hot jobs in America will only intensify as climate-changing fossil fuel pollution drives up average temperatures and makes heat waves even longer, stronger, and deadlier. The good news is that common sense measures such as paid rest breaks and planning for heat emergencies can save lives and livelihoods. Companies that do the right thing also know that heat safeguards can save them money. The Federal Worker Safety Agency, OSHA, estimates that a single case of heat exhaustion can cost an employer more than $79,000 in workers' compensation and indirect costs. Every one of us has the right to work in safe conditions and to make it home safely. And critical to that is a set of national heat safety safeguards for outdoor and indoor workers that OSHA has begun developing. These federal policies are essential, and we need the agency to speed this process up. The bill that we're here to talk about today, the Asuncion Valdivia Fatality and Prevention Act, will do just that. Here in California, we're actually fortunate to be one of 5 states with some heat stress protections, although they only apply to outdoor workers. And here in Los Angeles, we're thankful that Mayor Garcetti appointed our first chief heat officer, who's making real progress at the local level. These efforts are a good starting point, but we need to do much more, and in every state in the United States. Congress can do a lot to help by passing this important legislation. Thankfully, Representative Chu and Senator Padilla and others are leading the charge. It's an honor for me to be here this morning with our union friends to fight for workers' rights and to lead healthier lives. There's no time to waste. The world is heating up and people's lives are on the line. Thank you very much.
The President has revealed his new plan to take action and address the rising cost of living for Americans. A new relief bill has been proposed that would provide eligible seniors with a $200 stimulus check. Now, while pointing to robust June jobs and numbers, falling gas prices, Joe Biden announced today that his economic program is working. During a White House event, Biden said, "Today, the Labor Department reported that we added 372,000 jobs last month. Here's why it's important. Our private sector has now recovered all the jobs lost during the crisis." Now, Friday's job report eased fears that the U.S. recession was imminent, though some economists cautioned that low unemployment and wage gains would not help tame sky-high inflation, even as Biden touted the strong job numbers. Polls have showed his popularity has been sharply diminished due to factors like rising costs and crime rates. Now, Biden has told reporters prices are too high, families are facing a cost of living crunch, and today's economic news confirms that the fact that my economic plan is moving this country in a better direction. The unemployment rate is near a record low of 3.6%. Now, the Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, then met with top oil executives to discuss how the companies might ease the pain at the pump. Some analysts say it is unlikely the current price drop is related to the administration's lobbying efforts. And according to experts, the falling price of crude oil and weakened demand have driven the cost of gas down, and the industry is also working through the higher cost inventory. The White House doubled down this week, calling for Congress to suspend the federal gas tax again. Federal gas tax would temporarily suspend federal gas on federal tax on gasoline, and the result would be a price reduction of 18 cents a gallon. Now, consumers have already seen some savings in states where gas tax holidays were adopted.
On a different topic, oil prices have dropped pretty significantly. The pump have started to fall as well. Do you believe that the drop is durable? Do you believe that this is sustainable, that we've turned a corner, or should Americans expect that it might pop back up again?
So what we believe is the lower gas prices that we're seeing, the prices starting to come down is a good thing, right? It's a cool down, if you will. But we believe that more work still remains.